Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Your video is about to start. I wanted to remind you of our newer Wednesday, 1 p.m. live stream Q&A on all things Social Security. Visitors are welcome to post a question in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer it. It's on a first come, first serve basis, so please get there on time. Otherwise, if you care to be a member and get some different kinds of perks, feel free to click the join button below or just click it to learn about them. Anyway, I hope to see you Wednesday. If not, enjoy the video. Bye now. Hey guys, someone was asking me, I think it was through YouTube, about surveillance and if we could do, provide information on Social Security surveillance of claimants and such. Don't have all the ins and outs in front of me. However, there is a page that's been around for a while. This is not new. And it's about the CDIs, Cooperative Disability Investigation. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I will put the page down below. It'll say reference or something in the description down below, and you can read it yourself. Um, but basically, it goes on to share, and this is from the Office of Inspector General, that it's a key anti-fraud initiative that combats fraud within the Social Security disability programs, of course. And it says it accomplishes its mission by reviewing questionable disability claims and investigating cases of suspected disability fraud in order to stop payment before it occurs or as soon as fraud is suspected. The CDI unit consists of SSA's Office of Inspector General, a special agent who serves as a team leader, and personnel from the SSA, State Disability Determination Services, DDS, and state or local law enforcement partners. The CDI units combine federal and state resources and expertise to benefit not only the Social Security program, but other federal and state programs such as food and nutrition assistance, housing assistance, Medicare, and Medicaid. So they give a little bit of results. Let's see what they say. During the fiscal year 2023, so that presumably is the most recent one they have, they reported nearly 75 million in projected savings to SSA's disability programs and nearly 94 million to non-SSA programs such as Medicare, Medicaid, housing assistance, and the nutrition assistance programs, aka SNAP or food stamps. They said that and that was 2023. Fiscal year, which ends, by the way, in September of 2023 is when it ended. So it's not our particular calendar year. It's like how fiscal years often go. They go on to say that since the inception, these CDI investigations have contributed to a projected savings to taxpayers of approximately $8 billion, 4.5 billion in projected savings to the SSA's Title II, that's SSD, guys, as well as retirement and such, and Title 16, which is SSI, and 3.6 billion in projected savings to those other related federal and state programs. They say as of September 12th of 22, there are 50 CDI units covering 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, in addition to the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, American Samoa, and Northern Mariana Islands. So the SSA and the OIG worked with the state and local partners in those areas to successfully expand CDI coverage to all the 50 states. And I should say, guys, do not be concerned about CDI if you are just making a claim because you think you're disabled. It's when and you wouldn't do this, right? Lie, cheat, and steal. You're filing for disability, claiming you're not working, and you're working, particularly if you're working over SGA. A lot of times, sometimes people forget if they're under SGA. I don't recommend it. But sometimes people are full-blown working full-time. They're completely lying, cheating, and stealing. On our Friday Fraud Law Review, we have this sometimes. Just showing some of the examples that the OIG shares to us. let's see what they say about investigation. So they say, okay, these are short little quips, guys. Generally, the CDI units investigate suspected fraud before the agency awards benefits and support the continuing disability review and redetermination processes when fraud may be involved. CDI investigations typically begin with a report of suspected fraud from SSA, state DDS, law enforcement, or the public. And we've touched on this before. I know that sometimes a vengeful person can falsely make an accusation. I know a non-vengeful person who sees something and thinks it is fraud, sometimes reports. Um, sometimes people think they know whether someone's disabled or not, and assuming they're not seeing the person working full time. And they'll assume, well, he looks perfectly normal. He must be, I saw him at the grocery store. He must be defrauding. Of course, that's not so. Most disabled people go to the grocery store and they're still unable to work a full-time job. Um, but yeah, just to point out, the public sometimes does call in or report complaints of suspected fraud. And again, I think sometimes it's vengeful people, maybe an ex. Sometimes, more often than not, it might just be someone who's not into fraud. And rightly or wrongly, they might have it wrong, but they're just trying to give the word out so someone can check it out. They said that the CDI unit investigates statements and activities of the claimants themselves, medical providers, and other third parties, and obtains evidence to resolve questions of potential fraud. And upon completion of the investigation, the unit provides a detailed report of the investigation to the state DDS to use as additional documentation or evidence in making disability determination. If the CDI investigation reveals fraudulent activity, the case might also be presented to federal and state prosecutors for consideration of prosecutions, or the SSA might impose administrative sanctions. Now, we've seen the prosecutions, the guilty pleas, the indictments, and sometimes the sentencings on our Friday fraud law review. 9 o'clock usually comes out. But there you have it. They give a map too, but I'm not really interested in that. But yeah, I don't see it a lot. I know I think I had one, maybe two clients long time ago, um, that there was something like that going on. And depending on what I see, I will usually recommend withdrawing the application. Well, one of them didn't have to do that. It was more like a surveillance. It wasn't like a total CDI, and there was no fraud. Whether or not the guy was fully legally disabled as he felt he was is potentially another story. So don't confuse. I just wouldn't want this to have like a chilling effect on valid applications, because you don't have to be right. Or put it this way, if you're mistaken and the SSA finds you not disabled, that does not mean you're doing fraud, nor are you going to be accused of it. You are simply denied because you didn't quite meet the threshold of evidence. Okay, so I don't want anyone to think, because you see a lot of inflammatory rhetoric out there, that, oh my gosh, they're out there trying to, prove that everybody's committing fraud who applies. It is so not true. It is not true. And like I said, I think I saw it I think it might have been twice, where I don't think either one was committing fraud, but they were being more like, they were being surveilled. So maybe that was part of the CDI unit, having them kind of followed, but I don't think it's common. I don't think it's common. But if I find another good write-up, I will share it with you guys, but I'll get this one out now. I will talk to you later. Bye.